Greetings everyone, and welcome to a special Fright Night Friday DVD, Blu-ray, and book update. Yeah, I got a bit of a mix for you this week. A few things that one of which I've been wanting to get back into my collection for a long time. A couple others I just have had my eye on for a long time and found out they might be going out of print, so I wanted to grab them while the grabbing was good. And one that I saw part of a long time ago and have been wanting to see the rest of it for a very long time. So, yeah, kind of a mix this week. All spooky stuff. Let's check it out today on the Multimedia Chronicles. Welcome back. So first up, I guess I'll just go in the order that I have them in the pile over here. The book that I got is one of the World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade novels, specifically one that I had in my collection many, many moons ago and lent to a friend because I was like, hey, this book's really good, you should read it, and the friend never returned it. Tried to get it back from him for months, and then I moved, so never to see those books again. So it's been a bit of a long road trying to get this book back into my collection, not just for all the months I spent trying to get it back from my friend back in the 90s, but also just trying to get the book from third-party sellers. I've actually ordered this a couple of times, and it just either would get lost or turned out that it actually wasn't in stock and they'd cancel my order. It's just all of this malarkey until finally I got it in my collection. This was actually the first World of Darkness book I ever read, so it's kind of special to me personally. This was my introduction to Vampire the Masquerade. We have Dark Prince by Keith Herber. This is really good. I like this one a lot. It takes place in Los Angeles. It's about a vampire that is accused of diablerie, which is vampire cannibalism. That's one of the big no-nos if you're a vampire in this world, is you don't feed on other vampires. So, yeah, so as far as I recall, he is being falsely accused, but it basically brings down the wrath of the prince of the city on him and a lot of other vampires and whatnot. But this was a wonderful introduction to the World of Darkness for me because it really kind of gave you a peek at the vastness of the lore of the world and such, and in the midst of it being a really good horror adventure story, essentially. I really liked this one a lot. Let me just give you a quick peek at it here. There we go. I'm so happy to finally have this back in my collection. Very nice cover too. Like you look, it's actually embossed like that. It's very nice. Lovely painted cover there. One complaint though is this was advertised as like new. Does that look new to you? I'll talk a bit more about that after. Yeah, so Vampire Cannibalism, the Ultimate Crime. Yeah. These books are really good. They actually got some really good authors for the Vampire the Masquerade books. With the recent resurgence in popularity of the game and some new PC games coming out, I've been taking a renewed interest in the franchise, new and old, and, you know, might be picking up a few more of these, some of the ones that I meant to get back in the day but didn't. Stay tuned. So, when these were originally coming out in the 90s, most of the books were published by White Wolf Studios themselves under their own label, but for whatever reason they also gave a license to HarperCollins to publish a few books as well, concurrently, like at the same time. So HarperCollins had their series of vampire and werewolf and wraith and mage books, but at the same time White Wolf had theirs. So the interesting thing about this is this book came out from HarperCollins, And then there was a sequel called Prince of the City, which I also have. I still have that one. It's on my shelf, but here's a picture of the cover. Yeah. Prince of the City is a direct sequel to this. And then there was also a short story, also written by Keith Herber, that appeared in The Beast Within, which was a horror anthology series of Vampire the Masquerade stories, which also ties in to these two books, features some of the same characters and references to events from those stories. So, so it's kind of annoying having this chapter of that saga long missing from my collection, but having the other two. So it's great to finally have this back. Also notable, this is the only one of the HarperCollins books that actually featured a fully painted cover. All the others would just kind of feature, like black and white sketch style covers, very simple, like simple design, rather than this, which is a fully painted cover, which is kind of interesting. So anyway, glad to have Dark Prince back in the collection. I highly recommend it. This is a great book if you like Vampire the Masquerade. It's good stuff. One thing that was annoying, though, it was advertised as being like new, and on the front and back it looks great, but the spine is creased all to shit, as you probably saw in the close-up there. Yeah, totally like new. Yeah, it's a little annoying because with my paperbacks, I'm very anal about keeping the spines in good condition, so anyway. Next up, DVD. Let's go with the DVDs here. So a while back, this is not the one I got, but it's related. A while back, I picked up this, Zombie Planet, which is a very ambitious, low-budget zombie epic, entirely shot on video, released direct-to-video in 2004. I got this from an eBay clearinghouse for about $5 back in the day. I was like, yeah, cool zombie movie, whatever, I'll check that out. And I actually really liked this a lot. I enjoyed this a lot. It's, as I say, very ambitious for its budget and whatnot, but they do a lot of location work and such to get around that. It has some interesting twists on the zombie genre. Like, for example, the zombies can speak. They basically retain their intelligence, unlike zombies in other movies, but with the insatiable craving for human flesh. So it's interesting. It's an interesting kind of spin on what we've come to be familiar with in the zombie genre. And I really liked this a lot. And the thing is, this is part one of a series, or of a two-part series of movies. And I've been wanting to see the second part for ages, and I just kept not getting it. And finally, I don't know, this came up in conversation a few weeks back on my Twitch streams, and I was talking about it a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I really need to get the other one. So I just, on a whim, looked it up on Amazon, and I found this, the Zombie Planet Trilogy, for about $5. Once again, I only paid $5. It was actually a little under 10 with shipping, but still, I mean, what a deal. So this has the first one again, but it also has the second one. And the third in the trilogy is actually just a re-edit, reworking of the first two. So it's really a two-part mini-series, essentially. So for the longest time, I'd only seen the first one, which ends on a big-ass cliffhanger, and hadn't seen the second one. So at long last, I'll be able to see the entire story. And, it'd be interesting to check out the re-edited version as well. The only thing that's kind of a little annoying is it's 3 movies, and it comes on a single disc. Hope that's a dual layer. If not, well, all 3 of them are also available individually, but I noticed the individual releases actually cost a little bit more than it costs to get the trilogy set, so I don't know. Okay, so I figured since I showed it before, I might as well give you a closer look at the original release of Zombie Planet that I got back in the day. It's very cool. There's actually some pretty nice extras on this old edition, too. Some behind-the-scenes stuff that give you some insight into, just almost the guerrilla filmmaking style of how they made it and whatnot, and how everyone was just really determined to put their all into it. And it's great. It's really... I love seeing that kind of enthusiasm in low-budget filmmaking. And here we have, of course, the trilogy, which has the whole darn saga. Yeah, it's really good stuff. The director of this, who was it? George Bonilla, has actually done a bunch of low-budget horror and whatnot. I'd really like to check out some of his other work. And so you might be hearing a little bit more about his stuff in the future. And there you go. Very nice. And if we take a look inside, here we go. Just the single disc. If you don't believe me, there it is. The whole saga on one disc. There you go. Actually, if you want to see the other one, we look at that. Yeah, there we go. It's actually pretty nice. I like this. Actually like this cover. I think it's pretty cool. But this is good too. It gives you more of like the post-apocalyptic flavor for it. It's very good. Anyway, if you don't mind your zombie stuff to be incredibly low budget and you like shot on video stuff like I do, I definitely recommend this one. It's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Next up, a couple of Blu-rays. I've had my eye on this one for a while. Heard it was really good. I think there was a remake recently. But I've been wanting to check it out for quite some time. Scream Factory put out this really nice collector's edition of it. It's actually a double feature with another film. We have The Town, the Dreaded Sundown. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So this is actually a double feature Blu-ray, even though it doesn't have the double feature packaging on it. It comes with a DVD of The Evictors, which is that same director, or I'm not sure. It doesn't say here. But anyway, The Evictors actually recently got a standalone Blu-ray release of its own. So yeah, for whatever reason, the version in here is DVD only. Maybe they just didn't have a high def transfer of it at the time. But very nice. Let's just take a quick peek at this one. And here we go. Nice edition from Scream Factory. Not a collector's edition, but it does have quite a lot of extras on it. And then, of course, the bonus film, The Evictors, which, as I mentioned, does have a standalone Blu-ray release. And then if we take a look here, you can see it only comes on the DVD. But then there's a reversible cover that just gives you some screenshots and some stills and some poster art there. So very nice. And there we go. The Town that Dreaded Sundown. So yeah, quite a nice collection. I haven't seen either of these before, but looking forward to checking them out. Then last but most certainly not least, both Skinslip and I thought this was part of the Hammer collection. We were wrong. It's not. It is a Proto-slasher though, and we both really like Proto-slashers, so but wanted to check this one out. I remember being quite taken by the cover. It just looked really intense. We have Fright. Yeah. Very, very menacing picture there, being menaced by a shard of broken glass. So this is from 1972. Hey, that's the year I was born. And is a proto-slasher. And I've always been fascinated by proto-slashers and enjoy them a great deal. But it is not Hammer. It's actually from, does it say here? Fantale Films Limited. Yeah, I don't know. So Fantale. I don't know. Anyway, a not Hammer studio, but it is from the same kind of era where Hammer was doing some proto-slashers and a lot of crime thriller type stuff. So anyway, but wanted to check this one out, and it looks like it might be going out of print. May already be out of print by the time you see this. So I didn't want to miss out on it, so I grabbed it, found it for a decent price, and snagged it. So let's just take a quick peek at the packaging here. And here we go. A nice closer look at that rather striking scene on the cover. The screen has a new definition of terror. Doesn't like every other movie from the 70s and 80s say that? Like, the new definition of terror. Yeah. Before, when a stranger calls, there was fright. Oh, so I guess kind of along the same lines as When a Stranger Calls. That's a classic one. I have that on a Mill Creek release. There we go. And no reversible artwork, just mother and her child being menaced by the killer. Oh no, child peril. You know how much I love that. That's sarcasm, by the way. I don't love that. But it does make for some pretty tense drama. There we go. Snap that back together. There we go. Another nice one for the Proto-slasher collection. And there you go. So, yeah. Fright. So that'll be going on the Proto-slasher shelf. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. So not a bad selection of stuff. Kind of a mixed bag. But, you know, definitely some goodies. So we got a nice little reacquisition of my, you know, one of my favorite vampire books. Can finally see how Zombie Planet ends. And 3 new movies that I haven't seen before. So, very cool. Alrighty, well that is it from me to you for now, so thank you very much for watching. Big thanks to my Patreon sponsors. Be sure to catch me on Twitch. I stream just about every day, and I will see you next time. Until then, sayonara.